Like, I can't be a mega influencer because I don't have the personality for mega influencers. I'm not like I'm not a baddie on Instagram. So like, I'm not a baddie. So like, I may not get to a bajillion followers.
Welcome to the Afterparty.
Thank you. Hello. The Afterparty with me, about me. This
is how awkward is it?
Very awkward. It's like talking about retrospectively an interview that I did. I don't know. We'll see. Ask your questions. I can't ask my questions because I'm the one who's supposed to be asking the questions. But I suppose that the after party, for you guys who don't know, is the show or the segment that Kopana and I do after the show of the main episode. So we'll have a guest, and in this case the guest is me for the episode that we're talking about. But what we do then is, just as soon as the guest leaves the door, then we scurry back to our computer onto the camera, and we like talk about our first thoughts about what the interview was.
We're basically gossiping about the person after they leave.
Yes, because that's the best part, right? Like our actual thoughts, what we heard, what we missed, what landed, and we love this part because we want to extend the conversation to you guys as well, because this is the part where we're like actually talking. Like when the guests are here, it's great and we're learning from them, but I think the after party is the gossip, the tea.
It's like we never get to do it. Like imagine if Oprah had her shows and then after. I think she probably did. Like after the guests were gone at the end of the show, whatever, or in between takes
when they actually does it as well.
Right? And they like talk with the audience and stuff. That's basically what this is, where we talk about what we learned from the person. And even if you knew the person before the interview and now you just want to gossip about the person.
Yes.
But it's not really gossip. It's actually good learnings. It's things that we're taking away from the conversation we had. And the person in question today is Nyaki.
It's me. You're gossiping about me. I'm gossiping about myself. We're after partying me.
Spilling the tea on yourself.
Spilling the tea on myself.
How was it actually talking about your own journey? And you actually had to edit it. So
how did it listen to it like 15 times.
Listening to yourself talk about your journey.
It's really like, it's interesting because I think when you're in it, it doesn't feel like a story. But when you're telling someone about it, then you're like, wow,
that's actually deep, dog.
I am a deep person.
That's actually quite.
Then you're like, wow, we actually did some really great things. Because because you sprung up the interview, I didn't actually have time to like prepare.
It's the truth. Like we actually didn't. It was spontaneous.
Catchment areas here.
And we had already actually filmed quite a few episodes of the podcast before we decided we should actually sit down with each other.
Yes. And so Cabanas is coming next one of these days. I'll bet you. I'm telling you. And hot seat. What? I'm going to ask you. But yeah, the whole thing is like when you're in it, obviously it doesn't feel like a story. And it's obviously, I do speak about how hard it was and treacherous and all of that stuff. But I think it's really interesting. And it's important, I think, also specifically as Christians, to reflect and to look back on what the Lord has done, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're obviously in a new season and we're in a new opportunity where we're building the club literally from the ground up. And there's days where you feel like, oh my gosh, is this even possible? Like, what are we doing? Why don't we just go back to work and normal jobs and like getting pensions? I just give you
my CV and like you build up my retirement fund and I just quit and I have pension for the rest of my life.
Like it's easier that way. And obviously I know that obviously working is not easier. It's just a different kind of ease and a different kind of difficult. But being in business and like always being that person who's always starting, oh, Nyaki and her businesses. Oh, what's Nyaki doing? Like I know I'm that person. And you obviously take pride when things succeed, but when things are not successful, then it becomes really difficult to be that person who's always just like hustling and, what's Nyaki doing now?
You know, the funny thing is the other day, it's not the other day, it was last month. It was like a whole month ago. Before my husband, he was like scrolling through pictures. He's like, you're always trying, hey? You always...
And the fun thing is that, most people don't succeed on their first round of business.
Very true.
Like we know that. And we also know that most businesses fail. So like if you start a business, there's a high probability of you failing.
Yeah.
but those who win probably failed a few times. So it's like, do you want to be the forever failure?
It's failing within. Like, I think we look at the overall success of something, and we don't realize that on the way there, they were stumbling. Like, I don't. If you're looking at it, stumbling. If you look at it like a 100-meter hurdles, like there were a few hurdles that fell over, and you're like, you bust your face, but you finished the race. Like it's
yes.
The whole point is like to finish the race, even though you're stumbling. It's like get back up and then jump over the next one, and then just keep jumping over the next one to finish the race. And unfortunately, people just don't finish the race.
Or the race looks different. The finish line looks different, right? Because I think reflecting on my story as well is that I called it quits like a lot of times. Like I'm a quit caller. No, I see things through. My threshold is always R1 million. Like let's see what let me make R1 million and see how it looks like. Yeah. See what it takes like, and if I like it, then I will continue. And if I don't, then I stop. And 3 businesses down, I'm that's where I am.
Yeah.
And so like I think that's the key is that knowing yourself and being so self-aware in the process that maybe this thing isn't for me, because I've had lots of conversation of people who are really, really successful, who were like, nah, if they'd known, they would have just stuck it out in the 9 to 5.
There are a number of people who speak like that, who are just like, yo, this million is hard. It's $1 million, but like I know easier ways of making $1 million, but I'm here now. Like I've built just too much equity. I've built too much in this for me to leave this and go to something else. It seems as if you don't have that attachment.
Nah, life is long. You can't live with regret. No, life is too long. Life is way too long for you to like just be in it because you're in it. Because then go to work. Like go get like go get a job. The thing is like a lot of us, like a lot of high potential, high income earners. It's like you kind of leave your job, and I always have this conversation with people who are like, you're earning whatever 15,000 rand a month in your side hustle, in your main hustle, side hustle, but you could be earning 50,000-60,000 rand in your corporate life.
Very
like
true.
Why are you leaving something that is almost sure for something that really isn't working out if you aren't going to dedicate that to growing? Because obviously like there has to come a point where you're like, okay, I'm making more money in my business than I would be in corporate, or at least I'm getting more fulfilled in corporate. So cut it out.
I think it depends on what it is that you're chasing, because the conversation I'm having a lot now is about a purpose that is beyond you, and that doesn't mean you have to be broke along the way of creating that purpose that is beyond you, because things like what we're doing with Club Shears, it affects so many more people than just us. We're creating, it's like a tree, like it keeps feeding and it keeps feeding. It has a fruit has seeds, and that seeds grows another tree that bears fruit, and it just keeps this ripple effect of everybody getting benefit from that. So it's like this balance of, you want to obviously make enough money, but if you're leaving corporate to have a side hustle just to make money, then don't leave to make peanuts.
Don't do that.
But if you're chasing impact, then it does give you something more than just money.
Yes, and I see that argument, and obviously I understand that, but I don't think we need to be like aloof to the fact that things cost money.
Very true.
And you do at some point need to like have a profit and loss statement that actually like equates to thing. And passion is, and like I love passion businesses, and fortunately for me, I think even in my story, I think I share the fact that I did things because I was passionate about them, but I didn't hold on to them because out of passion. And I think maybe that's where the difference, or a different story, part of my story comes in. And it's also in one of the future episodes that you guys will watch, was like, learn when to let go.
Yeah. Very true.
And like, you don't have to be the majority shareholder in your business. Like that's
I know whose interview you're talking about.
Yes, that's a big pill to swallow, because a lot of us are like, no, I'm CEO, CTO,
this is my baby.
CFO.
I need to be majority shareholder. I need to have all the equity. But I think your story is also, and it's not, we didn't say it and it's not obvious, but when you look at it, it's just like, you have a lot of self-belief to know that here's a business that can clearly make me X amount of money, but I don't need this business to make that money. I can make it another way.
Oh yeah, no, I'm crazy. I am crazy.
Because there's a lot of people, and I mean, obviously you have had to have your score. at some point you proved it to yourself that you can make money like that.
Yes.
And I think there is a loss of fear of money, because I think a lot of us will hold on to things because we fear that we'll never make money like that again.
Oh yeah, no, and also taxes, sis. Sis. You make all this money only for Cyrus to come and be like, "Hey, booty, we need our money back." Yeah, no, sis, I hate taxes. I hate taxes so much. It's just like fundamentally, like it goes against everything within me. But yes, no, I do think that you have to have a level of self-belief, but you also have to have a level of self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
I think with everything, it's about understanding your capabilities and your capacity. Like, I can't be a mega influencer because I don't have the personality for mega influencers. I'm not like
temperament.
I'm not a baddie on Instagram, so like I'm not a baddie. So like I may not get to a bajillion followers, but I know that the kind of work that I do impacts people.
I think you can, and there's a I don't want to swear, but we'll bleep it out at this point. It's like, fuck around and find out. It's like, because I think that you are yourself in like your stories, and that's why you get such good views on your stories.
Yes,
right. But like your timeline content is curated because you just don't have the patience to be creating content on the go the same way.
And
you
I'm
do
such
in
a
your
funny
stories.
girl, guys.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel as though I wish I could dare you. We're gonna do a 30-day social media challenge, and I want you to do it because I think it's one of those things. It's like, if around and you find out that you'll trend for, like, if you did TikTok.
Oh, not TikTok, you as well. Tando, where have you been speaking to Tando? Tando, is this you? Is this you?
If you do TikTok the way that you do your stories, I'm telling you right now, you would have blown up a long time ago. That is the truth.
I'm too funny for TikTok, guys.
No,
TikTok can't handle me.
And like, you
can't handle me on
You'd be 100% yourself. And the thing is, it would be a relief in a way, because you're just like, you know when you don't have a formula, you just put something out and it works.
We'll see.
That's why I'm just like, you have to like everyone to find out. It's just one of those things that it just has to, you just have to try it, and then we will see when it happens.
But you see, the beauty of this, that what you're saying is that's how I've gone, and you'll hear in the interview, in the podcast episode, is that's basically how I've gone with everything, right? It's just like, how bad could this be? What's the worst that could happen? Like, literally. And the thing is, like, that's the approach. And I think, I speak from a huge place of privilege, in that my husband and I always are just like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, literally the worst that could happen is like, we go back to my parents' house or his parents' house. We're like, mommy, daddy, we're back. Can we just have a room for like 3 months? Yeah, now we like repoed our house. Like, that's always like the worst case scenario for us has always been like the motivator. Cause like, like that's an attitude that in life you kind of need to have, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's what faith is.
That is what faith is.
You always land on your feet. God promises that everything works out for your good, even if your stuff gets repossessed.
Yes.
That is going to work out for your good. And I think that's a very hard thing to compute, like
in the moment,
you're just like, there's no way that repossession is taking me to a better place. There's no way. But that's what faith is.
Jeez, there's a preach in that. That was it, guys. That's the end of our conversation. This is the after party, and it gets intense like this. So if you enjoyed this episode, please do let us know, like in the DMs, what's going on, or in the chat bot or whatever. Because this thing is hard, young.
It got deeper than we thought, and we really hope that you enjoy the podcast, because in a way, like, this is a bit of like a bootstrap gunslinging type of. And it's a very beautiful, because we just did it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if you look at what happened.
No plan, no business plan, no marketing plan.
It's one of those like jump out of the plane and figure it out as you're going. And I think it's a beautiful thing. You guys will see how our episodes keep improving along the way.
Yes.
And one thing that we know we are good at, and we will not even hold back, is we know how to run this online business thing.
Yeah.
And we're really proud of what we've built and what we are building. So if you want to be part of that, which is a community of women taking charge of their income and living life on their own terms, building their own brands, building their own businesses, creating their own income, and getting promotions left, right, and center. then join Club She Is. So that's www.clubsheis.com. Join the membership and we will see you inside.
Yay!
One of the things that people get in the membership is actually notes and show notes from what we're doing and the lessons that we've learned from here, and contact details of the relevant people that we have actually interviewed, so you can also work with them yourself. So if you want all of that, join the club.
Join the club. It's where you need to be. It's 149 Rand a month. It's $8, guys. $8 every month. Work too hard. Join the club.
Join the club.
It's gonna change your life. It will. Like I've been speaking to people that have been part of the club, and they're like, yeah, you know, I'm making 100K this month, and last month I made 200, but it's not enough. Okay.
The audacity of this person before.
Cool.
Yeah. But that's the type of value that you get inside the club.
Absolutely. And we're really excited. I'm excited for the journey ahead. And let us know if you are in the club. If you aren't, why? Tell me. Actually, I want to know in the comments. Write down in the comments. Why are you not in the club? I'm not in the club because ... Right there. I want to see. I want to.
Y'all or you or...
I want to see the reason.
A lot of comments. But until next time, beautiful people. Bye.
Bye.